Hi, James with Tabletop Gaming Guild, and today we're going to do a preview how to play of Glass Garden by Rashini Patel. And this is going to be published by Button Shy Games. This is a solo game. And in this game, you're going to try to build the best terrarium full of succulents. You're going to try to grow these before your threat gets to the other side of the jar, and you're going to try to have the best succulent garden you can possibly make inside your terrarium. Let's go ahead down the table here. I'm going to show you how to play Glass Garden. All right, this is Glass Garden. In Glass Garden here, we're going to be trying to score points by getting these succulents to grow in these jars. The game itself, you're going to have these terrariums, which are going to be these 6 jar cards you're going to have on the left and right here. And this is going to house your living work of art here. It's going to be a lush world cradled within these glass walls here. You're going to use care to cultivate and protect your fragile environment. Setup for this game is very simple. Basically what you're going to do is you're going to find these 6 jar cards. You'll put the ones that on the right here that are for the right. So you can see this makes the right side of the jar. And you're going to put them on the dark side from bottom, middle, top, and not the light side. And you'll do that for the same thing for the 3 for the right. You're going to shuffle up these cards here, and you're going to place them in between the 2 jars, leaving a space for a card on the left. And these will be placed in between the middle jars here. And it'll be on the sprout side, not the succulent side, so the sprout side. Then you're going to pick which one you want to play with. Now these are going to range in difficulty here. The easiest one here, you're going to look specifically at damage. So these cards here, this is just going to show you how the turn goes. You're going to take your 2 actions. You're going to grow succulents if you can. You're going to deal damage if the card deals damage, and you're going to shift to the right and flip. So this basically tells you what these cards are going to be doing. These 3 things are always the same on the cards. It's the middle thing. So this one's going to be easiest. The fly does no damage to any card. It just moves along. And the game's going to end when it gets to the end here. You're going to have one more turn, and then you're going to end the game and use any of these jar things that you flip over that I'll show you in a minute. But this will be the easiest. That one will have no actions. And you have the snail here. The snail is going to damage the closest plant on the left. And then when it flips, closest plant on the right. This one here is going to damage the closest plant on both sides. This is the ant. And then when you flip it, it'll damage the farthest plant on both sides. And then you have the worm here that's going to damage all plants, 3 plants to the right side and 3 plants to the left side. There's some rules that I want to show you with this. So that's why we're going to use the snail. But for the beginning player, you can always use the fly, which is going to be the one that doesn't do any damage. And you can get through the first game there and learn how to play it. But then you want to quickly go to the snail. So you're going to place it on here where it says right side. So it's the damaged right side. And you're going to place it here. Then you're ready to play the game. All right, so how does the game play? Well, the game is going to play where you're going to first take 2 actions. You can repeat the same action. You could do 1 of each actions. You could do 1 action, or you could do no actions. You can skip if you want to. I haven't run into a situation where that's going to be something I want to do, but maybe there is a valid situation where you want to skip. So you can move one of these up or down a row. You can shift one of them. So if I wanted to shift this one here, I would move these down and this one would be shifted. So those are 2 different actions you can take. So what are you trying to do? Well, you're trying to grow these succulents. And then on the succulent here, it's going to tell you what the action will be when it flips, but this is the requirement for it. So it's going to need 3 of these symbols to be able to flip it. And you're going to notice on these cards, you're going to have some cards that are going to be grayed out, or some symbols that are going to be grayed out here, sorry. In this case, it's going to be a sprout symbol there, which is a requirement for another card, and that will not be available until it flips. But you have a water on the top and a plant on the bottom there available. And what you're trying to do, so we have 2 waters here, so I'll show you an example here. we're going to go ahead and we're going to do an action to shift. So we're going to shift this down here. And then, just because I want to show you how this happens, we're going to do another shift action. We're going to move this guy down here. I'll show you why in a minute. So we did 2 shift actions. We didn't do any move actions. The snail is now going to, we're going to check for succulent growth first, and there is no succulent growth. There is nothing that is going 3 symbols in a row that matches anything in here. So the snail is going to go. The snail is going to damage a card to the right, so it'll move this one down. Now, if this card was already moved down, it would go to the first card that is valid to be damaged and damage that. But in this case, this card was valid, so it moved it down. Now the card's going to flip, and this is going to shift to the right. Now, really important in the game here, this now creates 2 zones. One zone is on the right of the animal, and the other zone's on the left. The 2 zones can't mix. I can't shift this card over this one. I can only shift as far as to the snail or to the jar. So this effectively is pretty much on its own, and we're looking at more and more cards being able to be moved over to that. So that ended the first round. Now we're into the second round. Now I spent all this time doing this and moving this over here. I'll show you why. So the first action I'm going to do is I'm going to move this up. Now you can see I have a water droplet, water droplet, water droplet. They're all in a row. So now I can flip the succulent when it's time. However, I have one more action. So my other action, I should probably look to get some other things in line here. Now at the beginning of the game, really the only thing you can do to flip things is going to be these blue ones. So these blue symbols are the ones that you're going to be able to do early in the game, and these green ones are going to be later in the game itself. So I have to see what I need to do to line up for the next one. But I don't want to ruin this, because if I ruin this, then I won't be able to flip that succulent. So, and that succulent's abilities here, it's going to be swap 2 plants in the same row and exchange exact positions. So I think the most reasonable one, since the Mountain of Lightning's over there, I think it's going to be, wait, box, box, box. It's going to be box. So I know I can swap 2, so I shift, so I could swap 2. So I'm going to probably want to swap this one with this one. And I'm already sort of in line with this. But just to get ahead of things, I can move this up for mountains later on, even though my mountain's over there. Yeah. Or I can get this ready. Instead of doing that, I can get this ready. Either way, I'm going to move this down. I'm going to have him eat this guy up instead. Which he won't. It'll be the one on the left. He'll just move it over. Anyway, so now that I have that set up, I now get into the grow succulent. Since I have a blue droplet, blue droplet, blue droplet, I can swap this. And now I have a powered up succulent here. And it says I can swap 2 plants in the same row, exchange exact positions. So I had one here, one here. I want to exchange these 2. And I could have done that a little better, but that's how that works. And since this is on the edge here, it'll flip this part of the jar over. And at the end of the game, I'm going to be able to do an extra move. So this is an extra 2 moves, this is an extra 1 move, and this is an extra 1 move, but I flipped over the 1 move. So then the snail's going to go. The snail here is going to munch something on the left. Since there's nothing valid, this one's already as far down as it can go, it doesn't do anything. So this is going to move over, and the snail will be here, and it'll flip. So now it'll damage the right side. It's my turn again. I'm going to go ahead and move this up, and now I'm going to be able to grow another succulent. Where is that succulent? Well, that succulent's all the way over here. I could have it grow that bottom jar. That's not actually that bad. Or not, flip it to the light side. That's actually not very bad. What does its action do? It says when it flips, shift 1 plant to a different column on the same row and same side of the critter and place it in the top row. That's pretty cool. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it there. What do I need to get ready for next time? Well, I have 2 mountains here. I need to get another mountain. I need to use this to finish that. No, I don't. The box is over here. I could get this one ready. So I'm going to shift this one down and let the snail do the work for me. So the turn will end, and I'll be able to flip this. This card will get flipped over, and then this jar will get flipped over. Now, this guy right here says shift 1 plant to a different column on the same side of the critter. And oh yeah, the same side of the critter, and place it in the top row. Let's go ahead and we'll shift these two, and I'll place shift. So I'll shift this here, and then I'll place it on the top row. I think that would be the best. All right. Now the snail's going to eat. It's going to mom, this one down one, and then it's going to go over. So now what I need to do on my turn is I need to move this up twice, and now I have 3 mountains. Whoops, sorry, 1, 2, 3 mountains. And I'll be able to flip that succulent, but I got one more move. So now I'm starting to get more of these plants up here, so I need to start thinking that through. I have 2 of those symbols, and when I flip the mountain, I'm going to get that symbol and that symbol. So I really need to think about getting this guy over here. So for my next thing, I'm going to swap these over here. All right, so now I get to grow my succulent. So I have 3 of those mountains, and I flip this guy, and this one says swap 2 neighboring plants and place them both in the middle row. Now you would think that wouldn't be as good for me, but it actually is. So if I swap these 2 and I put them down in the middle row, that's exactly where I need them to be, because I can line up these 2 here. So the snail's going to take a look, and it's going to now go. It's going to damage this plant. It's going to flip, and now I'm ready up for my next turn here. So what I want to do now is I'm going to swap these 2 cards here, and I'm going to push this one up. Now I'll be able to have these 3 symbols in a row, so it will flip this one. Now I did my 2 actions. It'll flip this one here, and what does this one do? This says swap 1 edge plant with a non-edge plant. Exchange exact positions. Okay, so as of right now, I am looking at having 2 of this symbol, and this guy getting moved over. So I'm not necessarily going to be able to do that one. I have the lightning bolts that I can do. Lightning bolt. But that's over there in lightning bolt. So that's a problem too. What should I do? Well, let's start getting these guys over here. So I'm going to swap, edge position. So I'm going to swap this one over here. And now this snail is going to damage this one, and it's going to move over. And we're ready for another round here. All right, so what do I want to do in this round? Well, I'm looking at things. I need to get stuff set up. Even if I can't immediately do it, I have 2 sprouts there. That's going to be great. No, I already have those. I have a leaf. I need to get this guy flipped. So I have a lightning bolt. I need to get this guy over, which he's going to come over. I need this one to be on the top row. Where's my other lightning bolt? Way over there. So what I'm going to do is we're going to get things ready. I'm going to go ahead and shift this one down here. And I'm going to put this one on top. So I have lightning bolt. Now the snail's going to go. It can't damage this one, but it can damage this one. It's going to move down. This card's going to move over, and then it's going to get ready to go this direction. Well, now it's my turn. I'm going to shift. So I'll move this over here, and then I'll shift this one up, or move it up. So now I have 3 lightning bolts. So my lightning bolt's right here. I'm not getting too many jar stuff, but I'm getting stuff done. So the succulent's going to flip. What does this do? Swap 2 edge plants, then place it in the top row and the other one in the bottom. That was done here. Okay. Swap the 2 edge plants. So this edge plant's going to swap with this edge plant, which is really good. And I'll place this one in the bottom row, and I'll place this one on the top, because now I have this one, and I still need the third one, which do I have? And I don't have that one ready because first I have to get the leaves. Oh, all right. Well, anyway, this guy's going to eat this, move it over. So now we're second to last round here. So I need to get these things together. So this will put that up. So this will put it in a line. And then I really need to shift these over. And that'll be here. All right. That's it. I didn't get anything lined up that I know of. Lightning bolt. Yeah, nothing lined up. So this nail's going to, can't damage the succulent, so it's just going to move over. So I have one more turn, and then the round's going to end. So can I get these set up right? So I have a leaf, and I need this leaf. So I need to move him down. So I have 3 leaves. That's going to flip that. So instead I'm going to, for my last thing, I'm going to shift. So I'll shift this here. And then I'll grow this, and it'll flip, and we'll flip this jar. Now, this succulent here says swap 2 plants in different rows and exchange exact positions. All right, so can that help me? I need to get these sprouts going here for my last turn. I need to move this over there. Okay, so that's great. So now the game's over. Now we're going to go into the final phase here, which is the sunlight phase. Now, a couple things that I'm going to mention throughout this game, though, is if I could have chained succulent growths, that's allowed. So if I could have grown 2 of them, I could have grown one, done the action, and if the other one's still valid, I could grow the other one. In addition, if I can grow one and then use that action to make a sequence available to grow another succulent, that can happen too. I didn't do that in this game, but that can happen. Now I can look at these jars here, and in these jars, if I ever want to do them, I can flip them over. So this one will let, I didn't grow this one. This one here will let me move one up or down. So I flip that. Now I can move one up or down. Now I'm trying to get these, so I'm going to move this down. Wait, was I confused? Oh, it was, what was I trying to do? I think it was this one, right? So, yes. So I move this one down. So now I have 1, 2, 3. I can flip this. I don't have to do this other action yet. Then it says swap 2 neighboring plants and place them in any row. They can be the same or different rows. Okay, so all I have left is this. So I can swap any 2 plants to try to get there. Here I have this, so I need to swap. So I'll just go ahead and swap these 2. And now I can flip over the other one I did the light for, and I will, if I don't have enough time, I can't move this up and finish this, right? 1, 2, 3. You know, that does it. 1, 2, 3. So I can flip this one, and this one says shift 1 plant to a different column on the same row inside of the critter. Okay, that won't matter too much, so we'll do this. Okay, so I can't move anything up and down anymore. Now I go into scoring. Now I did do all of these, and you think, wow, that's great. But the problem is, in order to get the most amount of points, you got to be on this top row. So I'm only going to get 2 points for this one, and all the rest of these are 1 point. If there were any of these left, don't count as any points. So now I have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 points, which is losing the game. You have to have 10 points to be able to be at the novice level, I believe. Let me double check here. Yeah, so 0 to 9, Dirt Farmer, you lose. So I actually lost this game. I need to get 1 more of these up to get to the Novice Planter. You also have the Amateur Grower, which is going to be 12 to 13, and Master Grower, which is going to be 14 to 16. All right, so that's how you play Glass Garden. Thank you for watching.